As of March 21st, schools and childcare providers will no longer be required to conduct on-site verification of screening for all children, students, and staff. Children, students, and staff still self-screen before attending school or childcare every day and stay at home if they are experiencing any new or worsening symptoms of illness. The province is also aligning with changes to community measures, including eliminating cohorting and distancing requirements. And in alignment with community masking requirements, masks will no longer be required of children, students, and staff, or visitors in childcare, schools, school board offices, and/or student transportation.
Well, in just a few days, less than 2 weeks actually, staff and students, let me clarify, in just a few days, staff and students will enter March break. The March break period is what I meant to say, so that's coming up starting this weekend. And once they all return to the classroom, this part is in less than 2 weeks, on Monday, March the 21st, the masks can come off. The province's Chief Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Kieran Moore, says mask wearing will be a choice after March the 21st, and he asks that those who choose to continue to wear their masks be treated with respect. The Ontario government will continue to provide PPE to schools, including masks and rapid antigen tests, and that will continue going to schools until well after March the 21st. Well, ETFO, the union representing public elementary teachers, early childhood educators, and others, calls this announcement premature. And a coalition of hospitals, including Sick Kids and McMaster Children's Hospital, say they hope the government would have delayed pulling this mandate, saying in a statement today, and I quote, "We would have preferred to see masks kept in place for 2 weeks after March break, so we could have assessed the impact of the broader reopening of Ontario." Well, how about the students? What do they think? Here with us tonight, Sophia Alexanian, to your right, grade 11 student and founding member of Ontario Students for COVID Safety, and in the middle there, we have a grade 11 student, Kaden. Kaden, I didn't put your name there. Kaden Johnson. Thank you so much. Both of you, there we go, grade 11, Kaden Johnson, you're in the Peel District School Board. Both in grade 11, both at the Peel District School Board within the board, correct?
No, I'm actually a TDSB student.
I'm so sorry. TDSB for Sophia. Okay. So both high school students, both in grade 11, let me clarify that there, and both have strong feelings on this. So Sophia, let me start with you because you're with Ontario Students for COVID Safety. Your group, and I know this is supported by Kaden, but your group is staging a walkout on March the 21st. Let's start with why. What is your main concern?
Well, currently we don't know, what the lifting of other COVID safety precautions, what effect that's going to have on case counts. And as students, we've been on the front lines in schools. Schools are the most essential service. And we've seen that spikes in cases, it's not just an abstract number for us. Even though they chose to stop collecting COVID-19 data in schools, we still saw the effects. We still saw staffing shortages. I personally was impacted by staffing shortages when my teacher's child got sick at their school. And then my teacher had to stay home to care for his child. That was 1 week. And then the teacher himself got sick. That was another week. So that was 2 weeks without a consistent teacher in class, without consistent lesson plans. And even then, there was no supply teachers. So our classroom teacher role was being filled by on-call teachers who were on prep, who could only stay for half the period. So it was very inconsistent. It was very sporadic. It didn't feel like it was a learning disruption. Yes, in theory, schools were open, but there were so many staffing shortages and so many issues with students getting sick and worrying about their teachers and their classmates getting sick that it was a real learning disruption. So that's part of why we're staging that walkout.
So, Sophia, but how do you feel about the option that there is a choice? I mean, if someone wants to wear it, they can. And I also should point out that we just had a panel of doctors. We do anticipate that some school boards or some regions will say, look, we're going to say that if you're in, let's say, Peel District or you're in the Peel region, for example, you're going to have to continue to wear masks for a while. So the regional medical officers of health or the school boards can continue to move forward with this.
Yeah, and I am happy that school boards are taking a stand and prioritizing student and staff safety. And I would be very grateful if my school board did choose to do that. But the issue of personal choice, see, we have this language going on right now that it's a matter of personal risk assessment. But that's not really in line with the values that we have in education. In education, we have values of inclusion, of equity. We can't just have the people who are immunocompromised, who live in multi-generational households, who are too young to get vaccinated. That is a major concern for our group. We're concerned for younger siblings and cousins, and just leave them behind and say that their needs don't matter in the education system, that we're just going to push ahead with what this supposed majority wants. In education, we have this value of compassion, and we speak so much about equity. We speak so much about inclusion. Why can't we choose to continue that as we're moving to with how we're managing COVID now?
Very well stated, Sophia. I can see why you're a leader amongst your peers, clearly. Very well stated in terms of how you feel and how some of your peers feel. Let's get to you, Kaden. Kaden, I am familiar with how you've been feeling for some time. I've been following you on social media. You've been on our show before. So you feel very much like Sophia. Is that safe to say?
Yes, I do believe that the removal of the mask mandate across the province is very ill-timed, and it will likely cause an increase in cases, which will mean it will have more people being admitted to the hospitals. We will have more of our community events be shut down, and we're going to have more restrictions potentially reimposed due to an increased threat and due to returning to the stage that we've been so hard, that we've been trying to get out of for these past couple months.
Yeah, so Kaden and Sophia, we know this is a divisive issue. People have very strong feelings about this. Whether learning this news today brought feelings of excitement, I could take my mask off, I don't have to wear it indoors, or feelings of anxiety. Kaden, what do you hear from your peers? We have heard from many educators and parents saying, oh, finally, it's so cumbersome for my kids to have to wear the mask. But others saying, oh, no, I don't feel safe sending my child to school without a mask on. What are you hearing from some of your peers, Kaden?
I've heard from the majority of my peers that they do feel the same way about the removal of this mandate being a bit ill-timed. But the people that I have heard who are in favor of it, their reasoning tends to be the fact that it's just been an inconvenience for them, and they're happy to be able to take it off and more freely communicate with their friends in classrooms, as there is also going to be no more cohorting. But the problem with that is it is putting convenience above the needs and the public health. The problem with that is more people will be admitted into hospitals, and when cases go up in schools as well, that is also going to cause learning disruptions. As Sophia stated earlier, with the staffing shortages, we're going to have more learning disruptions when we have to have supply teachers come in, or when we have to have teachers throughout the building rotate to cover the classes. I feel like we need to protect the people that we live with, and we need to protect our fellow students. So by keeping the mask mandate, that is a really essential tool that has been helping us do just that for these last 2 years.
And Kaden, last time you joined us on CP24 Tonight, you were at home continuing with online learning as opposed to learning in the classroom inside of school. Is that the case for you now?
Yes, I have remained at home for this school year, and I will have to see what will happen down the road to determine whether I will be returning for my next school year. I'm
wondering for both of you, I mean, you're grade 11, you'll be, under the law, adults very soon. Are your parents supportive of, this is your choice? Once the mandate lifts, you want to wear a mask. When you go to school, go indoors somewhere, then put it on. Sophia, what do your parents say?
Well, my parents, they do trust my judgment, and we do have conversations about respecting our communities and respecting ourselves and our health and people's boundaries. So they do trust my judgment, and luckily I think my judgment is pretty good in judging when I see a packed hallway. Like I wish I could take a picture, but the whole thing, minors in school, people's faces showing, but like kids just like sardines just going through the hallway, rushing to class. Like, is that really, in that crowded scenario, a good idea to not wear a mask? For me, making that personal call as I weigh the options with my parents, it's definitely to keep a mask on for now. And
we've heard from educators, they've sent me, they sent to us images about how difficult it is to maintain distance in some classrooms where the classroom is not a large space. Distancing desks is almost impossible because of the geography of the classroom. And now we know that right after the March break, you can take those masks off. So Sophia, maybe I'll put this to you. I mean, have you heard from, people that are some of your peers? I know your feelings and Kaden's feelings, but you're in the school system. Has there been a lot of compliance, or is it, is it something that some of your peers are fumbling with and they can't wait to get it off? I mean, I imagine there's some people who feel that way too.
Well, here's the thing. I'm very, very grateful, and I'm very, very lucky that my school, we have a good culture. We have a good culture of mask compliance. We have a good culture of kids in general care for each other, because we're a school where we have a lot of families that are multi-generational families, so kids are doing it for the concerns of each other's grandparents. So we're very lucky that for now we do have that. And as I was canvassing for our walkout today and talking to kids about their feelings, it seemed like the general attitude was, this feels too soon. I will still be wearing my mask. And of course, I spoke to a few kids who are like, well, I play music, isn't it kind of exciting to, have that extracurricular and now not even worry about wearing a mask in between. But there's that excitement, but there's also the caution of, well, at what price? What will happen? I want to have my family healthy to come see me at a concert in the future,
Despite how either of you feel, certainly leaders amongst your peers. Thank you both for your time tonight, Sophia and Kaden.
Thank you.